Tite Kubo is known to be one of the most successful mangakas of his generation with the publication of his manga Bleach. But not many people know about the series that came before his greatest masterpiece. That series is Zombie Powder. With the Bleach anime returning in a few months, I decided to read Tite Kubo's Zombie Powder to see if it's anywhere as good as his following hit series in Shonen Jump. Zombie Powder is set in a Western-themed world that looks similar to the series Trigun. The series follows John Elwood, a young pickpocketer who meets and befriends powder hunter Gamma Akutabe after failing to pick his pockets. Gamma is a man with a chainsaw sword searching for an item called the Ring of the Dead in the town where Elwood was born. Once news gets around that Elwood is hanging out with the infamous Gamma Akutabe, the gang that Elwood pickpockets for believes that he's befriended Gamma so he can turn him in and keep the bounty for himself. So they decide to attack Elwood's home with him and his sick sister inside of it, which is the reason why he's been pickpocketing all these years. The gang boss begins threatening Elwood and throwing him around the house. Right when he's about to start pummeling him, his sister intervenes. She bludgeons him in the head, and as she's trying to console her little brother, she gets shot and killed by the gang boss. In a rage, Elwood tries to kill his boss, but ends up with a gun barrel pinning him to the floor. The boss interrogates Elwood about Gamma and his whereabouts so he can collect a more than $900 million bounty off his corpse. After Elwood refuses to tell him, the boss puts his finger to the trigger, and right as Elwood is about to get clapped, Gamma pulls up and beats the dog shit out of him and his gang. They try shooting at Gamma and he catches all the bullets with his hands, and obviously, no one's trying to fuck with that and leaves the boss to fend for himself. And you could probably put together what happens next. After the battle, Elwood talks to Gamma and asks him about Zombie Powder, the thing Gamma has been searching for this entire time, and asks Gamma if it could revive his sister back to life. Zombie Powder can resurrect the dead and give immortality to the living, which is exactly what Gamma wants. Immortality. Thus begins the search for all 12 rings of the dead, and that's how the Zombie Powder story begins. But after 27 chapters, it falls victim to the Shonen Jump guillotine and gets cancelled after only 27 chapters in Shonen Jump magazine. When I heard about Zombie Powder's cancellation, I was curious and wanted to know why it was cancelled, so I decided to do a little research and began to look into it. Many readers in Japan and America thought the story was interesting along with the premise, but when it came to some of the characters, readers felt like they were a bit too average and didn't stand out. And I agree with this for the most part. I thought the characters were going to have more development and was going to learn more about them within the first 15 chapters, but obviously that didn't really happen at all. I wasn't the biggest fan of Elwood, but I was really invested in characters like Gamma and C.T. Smith. They were really awesome and they were extremely interesting, and they had a lot of things going for them while I was reading the manga. So I assumed we'd learn more and more things about them. There were hints about these characters and their past that were really compelling, but it felt like Kubo was trying to figure the story out as it was going, which is fine by the way, but you can definitely tell while reading it. On one of the volume's cover leaves, Kubo said he wasn't really happy with the quality he was producing for most of its run. He says that he felt like he wasn't used to the chaotic deadlines and scheduling of Shonen Jump's weekly serialization, and that he was in a state of severe emotional trauma, claiming that the cause of his drama was him paying too much attention to his editor's comments, which caused him to doubt his ideas and creativity during Zombie Powder's run. I can see how this supports his actions with how he and his editors would sometimes clash heads during Bleach's publication in Jump. Kubo said he didn't really feel that positive about Zombie Powder's quality until the series was nearing its cancellation, which is extremely unfortunate. Sales-wise, the series underperformed with Jump readers in Japan, which is the main reason for its cancellation. It performed decently in America due to the action-heavy content, but was released once Bleach was already airing, so it was already too late by that point for it to rescue the series from it being canceled. Which I find strange because it makes sense to distribute a series like this with a lot of Western themes to America. But I guess Bleach, Naruto, One Piece were Shonen Jump's way into the Western market. So hindsight is 20/20. I felt like Zombie Powder had a lot of potential when I was done reading it. Yeah, it had its issues, but Kubo was just getting comfortable with the rigorous Jump schedule. It seemed like he was beginning to find his footing. Maybe if Jump gave him some more time to develop the story he wanted to make, it could have turned into something extremely unique and special. But luckily, Bleach came out of this failure, and I'm so happy that Shonen Jump let Kubo develop the story he wanted to make and didn't cancel his manga towards the end of its final arc when everything was getting crazy.